Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm really glad you're here. And today we're talking about moon energy again. It just seems the way the universe is guiding me. I'm not an astrologer. I don't study a lot of astrology. I've learned a few things and that are very helpful. But mainly, I just listen to the universe like I listen to ancestors, and it speaks to me. And Spirit wants me to share that with each of you because we're all capable of it. It comes easier to some people than others, but with practice, we can all tap into it in our own way and hear it in our own way. You might not hear it in sentences like I do, or you might have it as the inner knowing, or just feel guided in certain ways, and that's lovely too. But Spirit wants you to know that all the all the energies of the great sky clock are here for you. It's for our spiritual journey and for our support and guidance in this physical life, which sometimes, many times, is very difficult. And as spirit beings, it feels like, at least I'll speak for myself, um, often not feel prepared for those physical shifts that come, and so resistant builds, right? And so we have a built-in system through all the astrology, through all the great sky clock energies, through all of nature around us, and as well as spirit in everything we breathe and exist in everything. Um, we also have guidance through our higher self or our guardian angel, however you see that. And we can make that connection much, much closer to hear that guidance much more easily and continuously if we have that angel within us. And I was shown, because this is what I had really wanted, this connection with God to be, or with spirit to be much more continuous and um, intense, um, through my connection with my guardian angel, because I talked to my angel a lot and I knew he was always with me. I mean, they're androgynous, but um, it felt more masculine energies to me because he's so big and strong, and so um, I talk to him all the time. But since having him actually integrated within my own energies, as well as integrating then all of Sky Clock within me, um, life is much better. It's been a learning time for me. It's taken a couple years now, year and a half maybe, from the 2 years from having the guardian angel within me. In September it'll be 2 years, and about a year and a half from having the sky clock within me. And so it's been that much time of noticing shifts, of tuning in and seeing just the subtle changes within, and overall, um, it's been huge overall, even though the shifts are tiny and grow gradually. But I did. Um, so my what spirit wants me to do is to share my experiences with you, to share this, um, how much more deeply and alive that these energies can be to us than what we normally think in in the average person's, or um, the average person, um, regular physical life. And because the moon energies are so um, tied in with, or symbolistic of our heart energy. The moon energies represent and call to our passions and desires of our heart, our soul, our spirit. And so it's very important to listen to the moon energy, the moon guidance. And that's why spirit has shifted me to help explain those, to help help us all see that better, and that as we can tune into those energies throughout the week, because they grow and shift. So like these energies we're experiencing this week are growing through to the new moon, or I often call it the dark moon, on Saturday night in Central Time, and or maybe it's Saturday morning. I didn't look at the time on that yet. I don't remember. And so it's growing until then, and then it starts waning and changing to the next phase of the moon. And so as we tap into these energies of the moon in the week, and each day think about those. That's why I'm doing it Tuesday, and then tomorrow night will be the tuning to integrate those energies with us, help us to bring them more into awareness and practical action in our physical lives, and in being able to listen more to spirit. So it's just um, helping more. The more you repeat something, the more you learn it. And so that's why spirit is guiding me to talk about it and share about it on Tuesdays in the podcast, and then tune about it Wednesday evenings. And for me in my life, I notice lovely things. And for this moon energy this week, I was going to read just a little bit about it. It's in the description below also. So the new moon on Saturday occurs at 1 a.m. So in some places in the world, it would be on Friday night. And it brings us stability. The energies remind us that our truth strength comes through inner alignment. And so this brings, as we tap into this inner alignment, and the experiences that the sky clock bring us and these energies, they don't always, it's just not always about here. Here's deep grounding for you. This is you can really deep ground right now in this hour or this day, and that's my gift to you. Or it's like, here, I'm making your life stable. Well, that's not usually how they all turn out, right? It's like, okay, bam, some hits, and you feel, ah, it's in remembering, oh, moon energy. It's for grounding. I need to tap in. I need to listen to my spirit, and then that deep grounding can come deeper than usual and quicker than usual. That's what I've noticed just today and yesterday. Deeper and grounder, quicker, and then it's in when the hemispheres of the mind calm, and I can tap into spirit and those moon energies of the passions and desires of my own heart, then that inner knowing comes, which is the stability that we need in our lives. So I hope that makes sense to you. And I'll just share, like this morning with me, the I got in an email, made me think, and it was like my I didn't realize my feelings right away. It's like I knew I felt resistance to it right away, and it was like, I'm really going to have to think about that. And then in calming my mind and being able to then connect with spirit, I could tell exactly. It was like that inner knowing came more quickly, exactly what I was feeling. Where a lot of times it takes me a lot to figure out exactly what emotion I'm feeling. And so I could tap in more quickly to that of why or what was causing this resistance. Why was I feeling this resistance? And also the solution. An idea that would bring a solution came very quickly to me, and I could voice it then quickly, bring it into reality in responding to this email to the person who sent it and saying, well, this is how I feel about it. Would this work? Would this work for you? Would this work for both of us? And it did. And so you might notice things that way. The initial bam, something that shifts you off center. And then remember, maybe even make a sticky note for yourself. I often do lots of sticky notes and, to help me remember to tap into those energies that are always working in our favor. And so the moon this week brings stability and brings deeper grounding, quicker grounding, brings that inner knowing. And in turn, that process as of seeing those different energies working together, as well as seeing our own progress in, oh, I could do that today. Whereas last week, when something happened, it took me all day to tap into it. And I'm just making that up, but it probably did happen. And so it's like you can see your progress through this process and gain confidence that, yeah, this is working for me. Yes, these energies of the sky clock are always working in my favor. That, yes, I'm doing good. I'm learning, I'm changing, I'm shifting. My life is getting better because of it. And give thanks. Be filled with gratitude then, which then makes the whole process easier. Whoa, that was a big mouthful. Thoughtful, mindful of everything. And I wanted to share more about there's also the moon in this inner knowing this week that comes with the deeper grounding and the stability that we feel then, along with this inner grounding. Um, the moon is bringing a message for each of us, and it'll be a different message for each of us that to pertain to your life. So, and it may have to do with the energies of your moon sign and how you receive it differently. And I don't have information for what all the different moon signs are of the moon that you were born under and how that moon energy is affecting each of you this week. But you could, I'm sure, find that easily in a Google search or in going through information from an astrology that an astrologer that you prefer to follow. And so for me, when I was born, I'm an Aquarius. My sun sign is Aquarius. But the day I was born, which was like 3:30 in the morning during a snowstorm, and my parents almost missed they lived 20 miles away from the hospital and had to go through this blizzard like stuff slowly, and they slid past the driveway, the turn to the road to go to the hospital, and they made it to the hospital. They were there 20 minutes before I was born, so it was a close call. um, and so, anyway, that day, that night, when I chose to be born, the my moon sign was Scorpio, which is in great contrast to Aquarius. So it brings me both the blessings of the Aquarian energy of seeing a bigger picture, of using my mind and for ideas and things for the greater good of all. But it brings me the really deep emotions, and I'm easily emotional, and so that's the Scorpio in me that brings that out. And This week, my Scorpio moon, the lunar energies that you can find again in finding your own lunar energy through your natal chart. You can, um, there are many places that give you a free basic um, natal chart where you can see what your sun sign and moon sign is. And I'll just a word here on sidereal versus the Western astrology. I've been shown from my studies and from my meditations and my spiritual studies that neither of those are the completely accurate form of tracking the sky clock that was the original when this world was created, and that as um, things happened that changed the processes in the sky clock and changed the processes on Earth, then it changed so that that information was lost of how the original sky clock worked. And so the sidereal and the Western are both very, very helpful. It's just that the Western, again, this is from my basic understanding, the Western astrology resets every year with the spring or with the March equinox. And so each year, then it starts over that time with Aries. However, with sidereal, they go continually clocking the skies. So what's seen is what you go by. And it makes a big difference because the Western does not account for the extra um, day or quarter, the extra hours that are there in the sky clock. That were not exactly 24 hours a day, 365 days a week, right? And whereas sidereal does, but it there's things missing in sidereal too, according to what were existed in how to track it that existed originally in the tracking system. And so sidereal then gets further and further behind, and I believe at this time they're about 2 months behind. So like if you were a child born today in Western astrology would be under, well, either Leo or I'm not sure exactly which day that Virgo starts. And but it's this week when Virgo starts. And so the child born today, then if it's in sidereal, would be 2 months behind as far as the what they're said to be their astrology sign. And so you can find a lot more better information than mine. I'm not trying to teach you that. I'm just sharing my basic understanding of it, understanding of it. And so go with what each of those, align yourself with the energies of the how the Western would view where you were born and see if those are about usual for you and if that feels right to you. And then look at sidereal and see where does that feel normal for you? Does that kind of explain your viewpoint of life and your emotional stance and things like that? And go then pick whichever one works best for you to go by according to which sun sign and natal sign you're under. And so for me, being in Scorpio, the moon is speaking to me through dreams, this to bring me a message through my dreams. And so Saturday night, I had a dream, but I woke up and I didn't remember it. I couldn't remember it. It just vanished quickly. And then it was Sunday that I was studying what the moon energies were for this week. And it said, okay, it's going to be through dreams. So then I like rubbed at bedtime Sunday. I rubbed my third eye and my crown and asked to be shown my dreams. So I would remember my dreams and could see the message in them. And it's possible that it's a message that's just through one dream, or that it's maybe plays out in the series of dreams over the course of the week. But so I woke up Monday morning and woke up directly from a dream. Hello in chat, and just want to say hi to people, and glad you're here. And so let's see, I lost my train of thought. So I had this dream. I woke up Monday morning and directly from the dream, and it was very vivid. And then I thought over the portions of it so that I could remember it quickly and trying to see what the message was. And then I wrote the dream down. And the message that I see of it could be interpreted different ways, but for me the message was that I see things, I see because of who I am, my perspective on life based on my life experiences and the astrological energies that I was born into, then and from learning on finding I love truth and finding different truths in this life that's not what we're taught in schools or what we're taught in the communities and things that actual things can be very different from what we're taught, completely opposite from things we hear on the news or whatever. And so many people, perhaps the majority of people, don't have that perspective that I do based on what I know and what I've experienced in my life. And so how I step into the energies and how I approach things in my life, particularly through how I'm going to approach my business or just my own personal life, it's going to be quite different from how other people would approach it or see it. And I'm supposed to understand that because they don't understand it or have the understanding that I do on how I see life, they're going to, at best, be confused or not have an understanding, but likely they're going to disapprove of what I'm doing, and that I need to be aware of that, but not let it change what I'm doing, to do my perspective anyway and have confidence in that inner knowing that spirit brings me as I follow my own inner path and inner knowing. So that's part of my message for me individually from the moon. It might apply to you too, and that I was guided to share that all with you. So maybe that helps you too. But so I do encourage you to look up, if you don't know your natal chart, to look up your moon sign of when you were born, the date you were born, and find that. And that could be helpful in seeing, understanding or having understanding of how you are, what you are. And then you could tap more fully into specific moon energies for that sign, whereas the energies that I'm telling you about are general for this phase of the moon in the sun sign it's in. And so there's many beautiful layers to how the sky clock is part of our lives and how it wants to integrate fully with us and to guide us. And it's there for our highest good always. And so this week, just to conclude or reiterate, this week it's about, the energies are about the moon bringing a deep grounding that then allows us a quicker, more fuller understanding that brings us stability, that adds to our confidence and our spiritual walk, our spiritual growth. And so, again, thank you for watching. I hope that you can also listen to the free mini biofield tuning that I'll give tomorrow night that will help integrate these energies more fully with us. And I wanted to say too, we have such a beautiful way of having more knowledge now in this day and age than, say, our grandparents did or our great grandparents um, back several generations. I can't speak to our ancient ancestors who were, in many ways, perhaps very much more um, knowledgeable and full of the wisdom of the universe than we've even dreamed of being now. But compared to our more recent ancestors in the last several generations, we have so much more knowledge available to us. And so the ancestors that I find often find in the biofield, they had no knowledge of how the sky clock worked for us too. And so when a person dies and their journey in the afterlife believes, they have so much to learn, so much awareness to become aware of, right? Things to become aware of, and so much spiritual knowledge to gain. And they start that journey of learning and awakening. And at some point, then they become aware of, oh, I could go to the oneness, or I'm almost ready for that, or I want that. And they tap in and they learn to listen to their spirit, and they hear that magnetism that we're all have, that spiritual chakra energy of knowing that we're spirit beings, and desiring to hear the spirit in our lives. And then they can consciously choose to have that in their lives. And then sometimes they need our help to add the extra energy they need, the extra voltage or clearing of stuck energy that they need to be able to make that transition to the next realm. And so we are so blessed to live when we do, to have this information. And sure, a lot of times there's air mixed in with the truth, but that's part of our journey in finding the truth. And it's also serves to prove our desire to grow that desire within us. And so I just love working with the ancestors and learning from them, and learning the wisdom that they carry, that they share with each of us, that help us in our individual lives. And they want to share it with us, especially once they've been the ancestors that go to are in the oneness, that we can completely trust now, because they have the mindset of God versus still being torn in some way with the hierarchical mindset of lack and control and manipulation, that as earth we all kind of have learned to respond to in our lives, and that we're trying to grow out of and back to knowing that we're spirit and walking as spirit being. And so I trust the ancestors fully that are in the oneness, and they have such wisdom to share and can help us tap into these energies of the sky clock and of nature all around us. And so I'll stop there for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. Bye bye.